Welcome to Inferno TV, episode 3.
I'm not Skippy.
No,
You've changed, Skip.
I've lost weight. Sorry, Skip.
it's like Doctor Who. He came in this week, there was a flashing light, there was all sorts of stuff, chaos going on, and Steve appeared. And he's absolutely amazing, in fairness. I have no idea what an amazing singer he was until earlier, and apparently later on he'll be doing a full version of a Tom Jones song. In the style of Barry Welsh, with a Russian accent.
That has been promised, so we don't want to be let down on that, do we? But also, do you think the fans will like him? You know,
No.
will it take? He's a bit of an unknown. Will it take time for him to set in?
Like me.
No, I can't see anyone liking him, to be honest. But apparently his mother quite likes him occasionally when he's not around.
But he doesn't like her.
No, he was one of those babies. When he was born, they slapped his mother.
Anyway,
So
Skippy will be back next week when
Welcome.
he's feeling a bit better.
he's not well, so best of luck to Skip feeling better. But I see some people who won't like you is some of the players when they hear what you've got to say about them.
I see personally, I haven't got an issue with Conboy. I certainly don't think that he's of that persuasion.
And I don't think you could have him, honestly, like you said.
Well, you know, apparently he's going to be selling 50-50 tickets this week, so I think that's what 50-50 chance of getting ahead. But with your ticket, I don't know. We'll see. So I'd love to see him back on the ice, though.
But
I really would.
Is the 50% paying for his wages?
Yeah, he doesn't, and remember, he likes to run in fast and fall on you. So that's just something else you need to be aware of.
Yes, that's his bedroom technique. That's fine. I'm not saying anything about that.
Okay.
He's a good-looking. If you're watching, great-looking chap and lovely personality. I like you. It's only Steve who said stuff about you.
Oh my God.
So
What's the first
We
topic?
should not have had these cups of teas prior to filming.
No, I don't know what
It's
Chris put in them.
No, Chris.
So maybe we should have a quick chat about last weekend's games.
There we go.
Start us
Yes,
off.
they were
So,
less humorous. Not that that was humorous.
Well, Saturday's game wasn't all that humorous, but positives.
Do you want to start with Sunday then? Because you were there on Sunday, and there's probably more positives to
Yeah.
go with a win than a loss. So let's start with that, and then perhaps we can backtrack. So how was it on Sunday?
There was loads of positives on Sunday because we beat Sheffield.
That's
We
positive.
don't really have to talk about anything else because we beat Sheffield. They hated it. The fans were really irate. We got a little bit of abuse. We had fans alongside us at traffic lights sticking their fingers up, and we waved to them because we won.
That's just a sign of endearment up there. Come
Were,
on.
Yeah.
were they Steelers fans or just the people of
Well, I think they were
Sheffield?
just Sheffield people, but it doesn't really matter. And that was Steve wasn't even on the coach. I have to point out, if he'd been on the coach, we probably would have been lynched or firebombed.
My reputation, apparently.
But
We've got nothing against the people of Sheffield on the whole.
you haven't mentioned them yet. On a whole, though, it was a much better performance. The biggest difference for me was the way Lacosta was leading the team from the back.
Yeah.
Calling the D-men, telling the guys where he wanted them to go, the way he padded the rebounds to our own players. He's a great guy at holding the puck first time as well. There was a lot of that went on. There was a lot of fast distribution of the puck. He doesn't freeze it very often. And in general, there was a much better performance. We were much better going forward. Transitions were a lot better. The line changes were neater. So I thought a couple of times on Saturday night we had a couple of 4 line changes put us in under pressure, where they skated straight through and we had virtually nobody on the ice. It was a lot better in Sheffield. Bigger ice probably, obviously having making a big difference then, a lot further to skate.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest other thing of the game for me was Doug getting quite excited because he felt Hicks was being a bit biased.
Is there any footage of this? Because it would be amazing if there is out there.
I
If we
don't
could
know.
If we
There
could
should
link
be.
people to footage or something.
Because incidents of that nature shouldn't happen.
Mm.
The referee must have been at the bench a good few minutes because he was there long enough that we stood up in the
Yeah,
Cardiff
yeah.
section and started singing that Doug was having a paddy.
Really?
Yeah, and he was shouting loud enough that we could hear him. Fata got a 10 for his comments in the thing,
Yeah.
and after that, I'd have to say that Hicks didn't call a lot of pens on him for a while. And after that period had finished, it wasn't far from the end of the period. The Sheffield players gathered round Mike Hicks in the tunnel then, and he got a bit more off them than when they went underneath. And I don't know why that should be allowed.
No,
I don't think it should be.
No,
And
absolutely.
it certainly seemed to have a bearing on the game. There was a lot of Sheffield fans complaining after the game that the ref had been very biased, but if you look at the stats, I think both teams took 33 minutes each.
Yeah.
So the chances of them being equal are unlikely.
It was obviously different ref the night before in Cardiff, but it seemed to be a theme there a little bit. I mean, not the abuse, but there was a lot of time where the referee was over by the bench and the puck should have been dropped. As far as I'm concerned, they've got to bring something in there because the time wasting that was going on by Doug, I
Yeah.
presume, and
That's
a team on the bench.
that's his style, though.
It's unbelievable because there was one occasion there was a 5-on-3 and then the guys were on the ice and the puck should have been dropped. It was just it was so cynical. But you can see why. But it goes back to what we were saying a few weeks ago. If the refs aren't getting perhaps the support they should be, then certain coaches and players are gonna walk over and take advantage, aren't they?
I think that's something the big teams have done for years, really, without any recourse. They actively waste time on icings. You can guarantee the likes of Nottingham and Sheffield and Belfast, and it's not a criticism of them, it's possibly our naivety, but if there's an icing called, you can guarantee there'll be a water bottle thrown on, there'll be a pad that needs tightening by the goalie, and before you know it, they've had their 30 seconds rest, and maybe we're not good enough at
free timeouts, isn't there?
Exactly, we're not good enough at getting ourselves set, getting the right line out, especially when we've just won an offensive icing, getting the right guys on the ice and moving the game along, and maybe that's naivety on our part as well as bad refereeing, which,
No, I agree. And Doug's playing style has been similar for all through his career, basically, with his guys. They tend to take penalties, and they tend to play a bit on the edge, and they tend to moan about the referee when he picks them up on it. And there's no real difference at Sheffield in what Belfast have done for the last couple of seasons, from what I could see.
Yeah.
One other really big positive was guys like CJ and Luke Piggott on the penalty kill. Absolutely brilliant.
That's an issue I'd like to bring up, to be honest with you, because Piggott's only getting penalty kill time at the moment, isn't he? So we've gone into the season with these 4 lines that we say we're going to sort of break teams down with, use them as role players, these guys. And Piggott, the energy that guy brings is the closest thing I've seen energy-wise to what Tyler Michelle did, for us a few seasons ago, which is invaluable. But we don't seem to be playing 4 lines. And we're playing against Sheffield, who have got a lot of people missing. And not taking advantage of that. So I think I would love to see those guys get more time. I know CJ's playing a lot of third line at the moment with Conboy out and everything like that, but Quiney and Piggott are hardly seeing any time at all, are they? And I think surely there's got to be opportunities in the first 2 periods at least where those guys can get out there and wear people down. Piggott's relentless, isn't he? We see him on the penalty kill. He had a great moment there on the Saturday, turning a puck over and just killing about 20-30 seconds. And I think personally I want to see them on the ice more, especially in the first 2 periods.
Yeah, we've got to trust them. If we're going to play the guys, we've got to trust them. We've got to give them minutes. It comes back to, again, maybe there's a degree of naivety in terms of getting the right lines out at the right time. If we've got 4 lines, granted we're missing Conboy. If we've got 4 lines, use them. Give them the time to get the first and second line, that energy that they need, that extra break that they need. We don't have to just roll through the lines, through the first 3 lines, just because. If we use the 4th one, it gives you that extra bit of flexibility then to decide, hey, this play, we need a certain line out, we need certain guys out for this play. Let's not just go through the motions and go through the lines. Give them the time.
It was one of the things from last season, actually, wasn't it? Because we ended up short on bodies again with all the injuries and everything. Those guys, they had a lot of minutes last year, didn't they? And they showed that they can go up and play a defensive game and stop other teams scoring, and do the job. So, I think.
Well, if they're good enough for the penalty kill, surely they're good enough to do shifts.
5-on-5,
All because we did is we short benched ourselves against a short bench team.
And our penalty kill is great at the moment. So why aren't we using that? Why aren't we using that line more? Even if we're happy to accept they may not score that many, they probably pinch the odd one here and there. They did last season. I can't see that changing really. And they're certainly good at stopping the other team from moving around. They're going to frustrate the other teams on the ice. They're going to try taking liberties. Those guys will draw penalties. Bigsy always draws penalties. CJ always gets the odd bad check attempted on him. He'll draw penalties as well. And I agree that they should be used more. And while we're talking about the lines, is the problem with the lines the issue that we're having with Myers and Hill at the moment, where both of them look off form? And I'm not sure that they are both off form. Is it because we haven't got settled lines and they don't really know they're going to be playing on the line with? Like Myers isn't on the line he played pre-season with, where he looked outstanding. And he doesn't look happy to me at the moment. And do you think that's part of the problem?
Well, it's not. It's been jigged around a bit, hasn't it? He's an outstanding player, isn't he? And he's still contributing in a lot of areas. The face-off stuff, it can't be underestimated, can it? Because the amount of key face-offs we seem to have lost in the last few years, having him in to take those.
Well, you've got to be fair that it wasn't Stu's best point.
No, exactly. A lot of great stuff from Stu, but not
that
in
wasn't
area.
his strong point. No.
And so bringing him, but he doesn't. I don't know. It just seems like maybe. Phil Hill's, he's going about a point a game, isn't he? So he's sort of delivering in that side of things. But there doesn't seem to be that link there. And then obviously they were jigged around with Morissette started there, didn't he, on Saturday, and then he moved down and things like that. So I think
They just both look a
they
bit out
did
of
look
it for
so
me.
good, Myers, in the pre-season when
Yeah.
on that big line, didn't he? So
They did.
I mean, personally, I always like seeing a balance. I like seeing more balanced lines. You know, sort of two, perhaps more in the skill sort of side of things, and then another guy who can bash about a bit. And
there's the nail hit on the head. I think the balance isn't there on that line at the moment because the physicality is not coming. I don't think Myers is getting the support that he needs. I think Phil Hill's a big guy. I think he needs to use his size.
Yeah.
I don't think he does. I think
No.
we've heard over the last couple of seasons about how he's bulked up and really hit the gym over the summer.
Well, pre-season with the NHL guys this season.
Yeah.
Let's
But
see it on the ice.
Someone did say to me he couldn't check out of a hotel,
Well,
and I'd have to say at the moment he's not really putting much of that about.
that's the polite
Well,
version.
I do. I do remember he did. First time I'd seen a really good clean hit from him a few games ago, and he got called on it. So
Yeah.
maybe that's.
There was a little bit more physicality in Sheffield,
Yeah.
but still not the level you might expect from a guy that size.
Do you think? I mean, he played his most physical hockey and probably his best hockey on a line with Brad Voth. So, do you think that's an option? Possibly bringing Conboy when
Bringing
Conboy's
Voth
back, bringing Voth back.
Yeah.
definitely.
Don't
Let's
start the rumours.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's the 10th goal straight away.
That's not a rumour.
That wasn't a Freudian slip, right? But putting Conboy on there with Hill, maybe see what that does. See if that kind of brings him out of the shell a bit.
It's all about confidence, and that team looked so confident in the pre-season and early on because there was that physicality was there throughout the team. Everybody grows an inch or two when you've got that kind of guy in the team. So you know what, Conboy's got his issues. I can't wait to see him back on the ice because we need that kind of guy. It gets bums on seats, it gives the other guys a lift.
Yeah.
And maybe Phil Hill, he's 6.5 foot. Maybe he needs to be near 7 foot before he starts throwing his weight around. But that's the effect that I think Conboy might have on him.
No,
Yeah,
I see what you're saying. Well, I think there will be confidence if there's a guy behind you who's going to step up if you need to.
Yeah.
And maybe in the past, Phil's taken a few dirty hits because he's a big guy, and and people do they do go after him.
Yeah.
And he hasn't really stepped up and fought that much that I can remember. So, and I'm not saying he should have to either, because really we need him playing on the ice. He's one of our key Brits.
It's the same with Bash and Quiney. Clearly, they're not fighters, and I'm not saying for 1 minute they should become fighters. If that's not their game, that's not what they want to be. But you cannot be pushed around in this game.
No.
And I think sometimes
You've got to
these
stand
guys
up sometimes.
have got huge physicality about them. They're not holding their own. They're allowing themselves to be dominated by other smaller teams. Have we got a technical problem?
Yeah. Well, I think that was a Ustream issue probably. They were streaming the lights tonight, and it looks like they've had problem with the power on their server again. Sorry. That's the Americans for you.
We've put a penny in the meter. We'll be all right. Let's crack on.
I was quite enjoying that. Can we leave it off next time?
What? Do it in the dark?
What, do it in the dark?
Might be better for the viewers.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to see you then. Me. All of us. I should say. Thank you.
Next.
So, well, they wouldn't be able to see the lovely sofas which are now sat on. I mean, we've
No.
got to talk about that.
A
I mean,
lot
that's
more
probably the
comfortable,
best addition, no offence, to the show is the sofas. Let us know what you think about the sofas. They're nice to sit on, so we'd like to keep them. So,
talking about the team and the lines, we probably
Oh,
should talk.
what?
We should probably talk
you kidding
about.
me?
I know. We should probably talk about the situation with G this week,
No.
with the article that appeared, and then the sort of retraction, the statement by the club. A couple of things I'd like to say straight away. One is, whatever people think of Mr. Reagan, and they're very keen to come forward and say things, he is the guy who lets us watch hockey in Cardiff.
Yeah.
He's the guy who, at the moment, who's providing that for us, and it's easy to criticise when things go wrong. He isn't the only man at the club, so when things happen, it's not always just down to him. I know he's the one who will take the blame, and I'm not saying that he's perfect, but I'd have to say that I'm grateful that we've still got hockey to watch, because we've had problems in Cardiff for a long time, but at least we're reasonably stable now. We do seem to have the same issue most years where we shoot ourselves in the foot and suggest we might be sacking our coach when we only a few games into the season. It's almost like watching Chelsea playing football for me some of the time. I do find it irritating because it destabilises the team.
Yeah.
It's bound to affect the guys' confidence in what's going on. They're bound to be worried about their futures.
And the way it works in our league, of course, is it's the coach that makes the signings, isn't it? So they're all guys who've been signed by that coach, so they're going to have a loyal. There's going to be an immediate loyalty there to the.
You'll be playing for me, and this is what I want, and this is what I expect. And this is what my background
is. Not a GM situation like you get in the NHL, is it? So
no.
I think the structure of the league over here and the way that coaches, especially player coaches, operate, we can't really afford to be chopping and changing coaches mid-season. Like you say, it's that coach's team.
Yeah.
That coach has recruited that team.
Yeah.
Where are we going to find realistically, a top level coach who's going to come? Can we afford to pay somebody to only sit on the bench? I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, other teams have tried to sign G in the past, which suggests that there's a guy like this year. I know we've got a bit more money to spend. Our budget's a little bit bigger. It's still not a budget similar to the very big teams, but it's more money than we were spending previously. So we have a right to expect a bit of a better performance on the ice.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a starting netminder, and no team in the league wants to be playing games. And no disrespect to Greg or Joe Myers, who both stepped up and did their absolute best. Those guys would be starting in teams if they were starting netminders. Neither of them has had a shutout in the NHL that I'm aware of. Lacosta has. Yeah. There's a good reason why he has, because he's a very good netminder. So I don't think we can judge until Dan's been in net for a while. Yeah. We've got the line settled. Because I think one of the biggest differences I noticed the other night is that the guys were a lot more confident at the back. Yeah. They were more confident about moving around. We were attacking more. Because in previous games, we seem to have lost our attack because we were scared of leaving the netminder alone too much. Yeah. Richie has been one of my... Yeah. So again. He's really moved on recently. He's really started... Is that 3 goals recently?
Yeah, but he's almost quite a game, isn't he, at the moment? I think
it's the way he's playing as well. Yeah, outstanding on defence. One of the best teams in the country, I would have said, at the moment. Oh, yeah. But the goal that he set up in Sheffield, coast to coast, round the back of the net, laid off a pass to Morissette back to Richie, first time shot, top left, perfect. Yeah. And that's... We need that, but we need the forward scoring as well, which is really where I was going with that. Richie scoring, great. And we need Richie scoring, and Richie's an outstanding player, and we're very lucky to have him here. The other guys need to be scoring as well. Mac played very well in Sheffield, particularly the second goal.
It sounds like that's happening now, doesn't it? Maybe.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because there's been like a few of the things you mentioned tonight, particularly like because you had the benefit of being there Sunday, is like you've singled out a few certain players, obviously Lacosta, Richie, Mac, those guys. And is that what's going to pull this team out? Is it certain guys stepping up and taking their game on to another level, which means that and dragging the rest of those blokes with them? Is that what we're looking at? Because those 3 guys, I think anyone would look at from an outside point of view and say there's 3 potentially. Well, one of them's a captain, so he's obviously been identified. Richie's done that captaincy job before. You've got an ex-NHL guy. They're the sort of guys you're looking at, aren't they, to kick it on and drag everyone with them?
They have to lead. There's no other option for them, they've got to drag us out of this slump. Mac and Blight, they haven't had the greatest start. It looks like it's turning around. My worry is possibly Morissette. It's good that we've moved for him quickly and we've brought him in. If you move Max back, the trouble with Max is even if he has an average year, he's still going to contribute probably 50 points to you. Yeah, so the guy that you bring in has got to contribute at least that. Yeah. Otherwise, it's a pointless exercise. Yeah.
Has that been ditched already though? Because Max has gone.
Well, Max has been playing up front again, and Batchy's been dropping back. Well, we certainly moved things around a bit. Yeah. Max certainly contributed a lot in Sheffield.
I think he's got to stay forward for the rest of the year.
He looks. He did one of his coast to coasts in Sheffield. Yeah. And he got in on the netminder, and it was saved. But it was a fantastic effort, and he really deserved to score there. Yeah. But he had a very good night. I thought he played really well. He played hard. Yeah. Like he always does.
The thing is, he's a dynamic player, isn't he? Like, he skates fast, he hits, he's capable of those 2 or 3 moments in a game that can change it, and so having a guy like that, probably going forward, I can see the reasons for him back, improving the transition and everything, but it looks like Richie's stepping up into that role a little bit, doesn't it, as well, so, I don't know, I mean, it's a lot to lose having that guy, having Max Beerbrier not charging forward like we're so used to seeing him do, so...
No, I agree. I think that all the guys in the team have been affected by what's going on. Ben Davis is one of the guys that I think has really been affected by the issues we've had at the beginning of the season. Because Ben finished last season off very strongly. Pre-season with Mac away, we know he came back. He looked very sharp. He looked strong. Yeah. Lately, I got the impression that Ben is trying to do everything, and I just wondered if that either he's not comfortable on the line that he's on. But he seems to be trying to do everything himself, and that's not really his role. He's a good little sniper around the net. He's good in the corners. He's good in the dirty areas.
But is that another argument for maybe balancing the lines out a bit? Because some of I remember the first did he play with who was the guy who came over a few seasons ago? I've forgotten now, which is horrendous timing. Ex-NHL guy, and he played a few games alongside him.
Oh yeah.
For
Matt Aled.
Elich, that's it. Yeah, and he played alongside him, and it sort of brought out his game. Yeah. Is that an argument for balancing the lines out? Because we've seen him step up when he's played with good players.
Yeah, someone needs to be supplying him better puck.
Yeah,
a bit like football when the guys want better ball up front.
Yeah.
Ben needs, because I get the impression at the moment Ben feeling the need to do just about everything himself.
Is Ben the finisher? That's the trouble. I think his game is brilliant. He's got a better two-way game than most of the Devils at the moment, including the imports. His forecheck is probably number one on the team.
Yeah.
If his finishing was as good as the rest of his game, he'd be a premium Brit.
Yeah.
He'd be well up there. It's just finding the net seems to be difficult.
But that's more argument to say he needs a guy in his line that's going to put it away, isn't
Someone to supply him.
Yeah.
Some nice soft hands, somewhere near the net that's going to help him. He's good. He's great at winning the puck on the boards, and a guy that size you wouldn't expect him to be winning the puck as often.
Yeah. He'll go with anyone.
Yeah, he will.
That's the best thing.
And I've noticed this season he's really been standing up. The big check with between him and Spencer in Sheffield the other night. Spencer stood him up, but you'd expect that because Spencer's a big guy.
It's difficult to tell when he's standing up, isn't it?
Yeah. And he took Hick's mate, missed what looked like a charging penalty for me. A guy skated right across from one side of the rink to the other just to hit Davis. Pretty sure it was more than 6 strides he took before he made contact. It looked more like it was about 20. And Ben went flying, but one good thing about Ben is he always bounces and gets back up and carries on with the game.
Oh, yes.
He's not one of these guys who goes down. He's down for quite some time.
Brilliant attitude.
So that was good. It was good to see Blighted had a little bit of a tussle with Hewitt. He got jumped by Hewitt basically and didn't have much choice. But so all positives, lots of positives I think to come off the weekend. The G situation, as we touched on, not ideal, but I think the most important thing to take out of it is we still got hockey, and we all need to get behind the team because the guys need our support. So whatever we think about washing our laundry in public, which wasn't ideal, I'd have to say, and it was a bit scary. I know Mr. Black, who owns the Panthers in Braehead, and I can't remember him ever doing anything ever happening like that with one of his clubs. So I think it's something in future we need to be a lot more careful with. We say things that get misinterpreted, etc. So moving on from there.
You're the question master. What's next?
Oh, me?
Unfortunately, I haven't got the agenda.
Skippy's not here; it all falls apart. So
I don't know. We've gone all about it in a weird order.
That's all right. Fans love that.
So
there's no technical issues. Thanks, James. In the background, we do have a lighting engineer, James, who runs around and turns the lights back on.
Well,
he's found his calling in life.
At one point, we've written new arena down there, but then we realised that we haven't got anything to talk about on it, really. So we wrote it down and then forgot why we've written it down.
I think we've got a lot to talk about the new arena.
Go on.
Braehead are having a new arena built. That's fantastic news. They've already got a fantastic arena. And they're having a new arena.
Oh, so they got 2.
Well, they'll have. I think they're going to change around.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things with Braehead actually that I was thinking about this week. And a couple of things I was thinking about with crowds, and people have been talking about generating atmosphere in the rink. So maybe we're talking about when we go to our new rink as well, we need to generate atmosphere there. When we went to Sheffield the other day with 40, 50 people, we outsang the Sheffield Steelers fans.
Yeah.
It wasn't our choice of music playing.
No.
It wasn't our drummer who was playing, it was one of their drummers who tried to drum over the top of us. But somehow we still outsang them. So I've heard a lot of suggestions that the DJ isn't playing the right sort of music, generating atmosphere. The drummer isn't drumming correctly to go with the chants, etc., etc. But you have to recognise that sometimes with only a small group of fans, and that's why I mentioned Braehead, because at the moment they're starting to outstrip us. Their reputation around the league for going to being the noisiest fans all around the league and at their home venue. Unfortunately, they're overtaking us now, and that's something we need to look at in Cardiff because we've always been the leader on that. We've always been the team that made a racket continuously. Our barn needs to be so noisy everyone's terrified. At the moment, we seem to be struggling to get more than 2 or 3 blocks to actually join in with that.
It's not even that because like people talk. We're Block 2 residents.
They're noisy in there.
I love the way you wave to the camera there as though that brings us some kind of fame.
We should do.
Or respect.
We've worked hard for that.
I can see you all from my seat. You all look quite scary.
We've worked hard for that.
Yeah.
So I will take some.
What, the reputation?
However, what we're talking about when people go on about Block 2, they're noisy, aren't they? It's probably what 10 people. Tops. The rest
well, I think people, are really bullied to joining in the rest of Block 2, aren't they? We go round prior to the game, threatening everyone else in Block 2 to join in. So that's why they join in.
Yeah.
But in block 3, they like to think they got it
Oh, yeah.
but it really does need to get going around the rink. So I think there's been a couple of sort of suggestions discussed, among fans and everything like that, and just in terms of maybe even getting various people who quite like to have a bit of a shout, and maybe going around the blocks even within a game, and working with the drums as well. Perhaps they wouldn't move around the blocks, but certainly working in a chant sense and trying to just get a bit of and getting people to know what's going on. Because for me, when it's sort of a dead atmosphere and a team's running all over us, it's not good. It's not what I remember when I used to go and watch the Devils when I was sort of this high. It's not what I remember at all.
We seem to do it in our team, and we always seem to have done it, where we suddenly stop playing properly. And I generally shout focus from my seat because at that point I don't feel like we are focused.
You're not one of these that shouts shoot, you?
Oh no, I never shout shoot.
You don't like goals, though, do you?
No, I'm quite happy just to watch us play the puck around. But this thing where all of a sudden we start getting pushed back as if we're on a penalty kill when we're not.
Yeah.
And they just circle round us and we seem completely incapable for a minute or two. It's at those points the crowd have got to step in. They've got to generate masses of atmosphere. And the drummer and the guy who plays the music, he can't do that at that point because we can't put music on when they're playing. The drummer maybe, he can't come in. The crowd have got to come in at that point and they've got to start screaming at the guys. They've got to wake people up. You've got it. That's when you've got to be really enthusiastic.
But absolutely. There is a two-way element to this, though, I think. And for me, I thought last season was horrendous. Like it was the least enjoyable season of hockey I've had personally, and I'm glad it's definitely improved this year without a doubt already. But you've got to see guys paying the price on the ice as well. For me, there's not enough people going to the net. But that can't be just because Conboy isn't in the team. You can't rely on just one guy's presence to play like that. People going to the net. Look at Sheffield. They're getting into the net, getting those rebounds. Their goaltender Doyle, the amount of rebounds he coughed up in that home game, nobody was there. So they've got to go to those areas. If they get hit, so what? You score a goal. 1 in 5, 10 tries, whatever. It's better than no goals, isn't it? And it's the same defensively as well. You've got guys standing on top of our goaltender and nobody coming in and just getting rid of them. You've got to be absolutely brutal in those areas.
We had that again in Sheffield.
And that is what we had it. Good. Yeah, because that's what gets people.
We had them doing it to us, unfortunately.
Yeah, because that's what gets people involved. We've got so many power plays where nobody is in front of the net. And it's not just the effect on the team and the effect on the opposition's goaltender, it's the effect on the fans as well. Because when you see that happening and you see a scramble in front of the goal, whether it involves physicality or whether it's just the goalie lying on it or whatever, they're the exciting moments in hockey, which at the moment we're not getting because we're getting a juicy rebound, cleared away, the game goes flat. And then defensively, we're seeing guys just walk all over us in our own zone.
We got nobody on that point.
I'm extremely passionate about this. But we've got to get there. That net area, we've just got to get involved.
Well, we're good at winning the puck in the dirty areas, but we don't have anybody following up on it. But we're great at it in the reverse pass off the board. Laying it out in front, but there's nobody there.
There's nobody there.
Which is one thing I do have to mention. After we made a few little jokes about Frank Doyle last weekend, is he made one of the best saves in Sheffield I've ever seen in this country. One of his own defenders, who was standing in front of the net, tipped it, and he dived backwards and deflected the puck over his right shoulder, I think it was, over the net. And I've got to say, Frank, and anybody from Sheffield, because Frank will be watching because he always watches. But I've got to say for the Sheffield fans, if anybody does watch it, it was absolutely outstanding. And I clapped him. And he made a few outstanding saves in that game.
Let's be honest, we've probably single-handedly played him into his season.
Well, that was the worry on Saturday night.
We've given him all the confidence he needs now to get going.
Well, he faced loads of shots.
Well, we spent the first period sort of almost shooting at him like he was a backup. Straight at him from distance, played him into the game, and he played really well after that, without a doubt. Didn't have a lot of, in terms of what we did, we didn't make life difficult for him at all, did we?
That's why Sheffield came back into the game in Sheffield. They really started going to the net as the game progressed. And at one point we had Spencer almost ran Lacosta, and our guys cleared him out.
Oh, good.
But it was close, and he was obviously trying to intimidate Lacosta. I'm not suggesting he was trying to run in, but he went straight at him, and he's a big guy. And Dan was up immediately and out the net and away up by the boards to make sure he didn't take any damage. Thankfully, which I was glad to see. And there was a bit of a tussle in front of the net, but they went to our net so hard towards the end of the game, they almost turned it round.
It's so infuriating though, because this guy is the difference between what kind of season we have, and he's just come back from 2 concussions. He wants to see guys looking after him in front of the net, giving everything for him, because our season rests on him playing and playing well. And how's he going to feel going into that game if people aren't just clearing people out and not letting people take liberties? You know, it's just I don't know.
We need a guy like Nickerson, I think, in the team.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolute maniac.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Nickerson, because wasn't he involved in the second headbutting incident of the year? Was it Nickerson who was involved?
Frank.
Frank. Yeah, it wasn't Nickerson who did it. Just
no,
yeah,
apparently Frank was
But it's amazing
headbutt.
though, isn't it? Because you know we've had nothing like that for years, and then we get 2 in a season, and one is even a reverse headbutt, which is even rarer.
But you know, like but apparently in Chris's defence, it was accidental.
Right, yeah.
He slipped when he was going to speak to a linesman.
I thought that might
bounced
happen.
off a member of the public who stepped onto the ice to take a photograph.
Yeah.
As the guys went past, and then headbutted Nickerson. Now I did hear a rumour this week about Nickerson, and I tend to think that they may have an unfair advantage, because what I heard was David Banner turns into the Hulk when he's angry, and the Hulk turns into Nickerson when he's angry.
Oh my!
So on that basis, it is no wonder that guy is scaring people. Have you seen his picture? He looks terrifying. I tell you what, if I saw him out on the ice, he reminds me of Brad when Brad had all the hair and everything.
Yeah.
You see him, he's a big guy.
So in that case, a preemptive headbutt is perfectly acceptable then.
Well, I don't think it took him down now. I think you'd have to shoot Nickerson, to be honest. I don't know what you do with a guy that's.
I know what you could do to him. Kick him in the balls.
Oh. I didn't know where you were going then.
I'm not sure if that's legal, is it?
You're asking the wrong person.
Conboy will know.
I've got to ask something though. It's not David Banner, though, is it?
Bruce Banner. David Banner.
You said David Banner.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just to feel.
Apologies. I'm glad somebody knows.
I don't read comics, so I couldn't.
No, it was funny how you were kind of just looking like this through it.
I know he's green and he's not Shrek. So, you're right.
Yeah, who'd win in the fight though?
What,
Shrek
Nickerson
or the Hulk? And Nickerson, 3-way.
Well, I think Nickerson's always going to win, isn't he?
Yeah.
To be honest.
Well, he is the Hulk, you said though.
I understand he's going to feature in the new Avengers film.
Is he?
Yeah. It's going to be a massive thing. Fight for their 75th birthday celebration this week, which we should mention because that's great for hockey in general. They're great guys there, particularly Todd, who's one of my favourite guys in hockey. So congratulations to them.
I've never been up there to a game. Have you?
I have.
I presume you've been.
I've been a few times.
I heard it's
intimidating.
Yeah.
They're a great set of
fans.
Is that what
our rink should be like though?
Yes, it should. Yeah. It is intimidating there.
So should we extend an offer to Fife fans? I'm sure loads of them will want to do this and travel all the way down. Come down to one of our games and help with the atmosphere. Yeah. Come down and have a laugh. They're
a good group. They're a good group in Scotland in general. Yeah. Apart from
wait for it.
Don't want to be unfair on them. Edinburgh probably have an issue with crowd size.
That's true.
The fans that they have, and they got some absolutely great fans there, but they don't have enough of them.
Well,
like a punch in the face.
5 fans, good.
Sorry.
You know, long history there. Braehead, fantastic fans, absolutely fantastic. Dundee, well, they've got something to shout about.
They got some really noisy fans there as well.
So not only are we running down Edinburgh's fans now, but we're also saying how much better the other Scottish teams' fans are. Well, is that what's happening here?
Unfortunately, the scores are showing that most of the time.
Let's go after the city as well. It's not particularly pleasant. It's got some nice historical features, but other than that, it's.
I'm distancing myself at this point. Any Edinburgh fans, I love your rink. Yeah. Particularly the gold, bronze, and silver sections, which I do find amusing when I come there.
What are they?
Well, they got silver, bronze, silver, and gold seating.
Oh right.
But they're all the same sort of wooden benches with plastic on.
Yeah. It's like have any of them got cup holders?
No. But there is a wall in front of you in one section. You can put a cup on.
Oh, good. Yeah. How much does that?
They do have the best.
Does that block your view of the ice?
No. They got the best stovies in the league, though. Let's give them a bit of defence.
Gold, silver, and bronze. It's like.
They got a great cafe there.
It's like grading a turd.
Yeah.
We're being told to get on with it.
There's only 4 fans there. There's more than 4. That's ridiculous. I saw only 6 when I went.
The problem is we don't know what on earth's going on from the director behind the camera. We don't.
I think what you're saying is we've probably missed some areas off.
Yeah.
Sponsorship.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's up 33%. Is that recurring?
Well, it's £33 actually. But we put percent down.
£33.
Yeah.
Does that mean that we've just got 33% more Paul Reagan-owned companies sponsoring us, or has the actual income revenue gone up 33%?
I couldn't possibly comment on that.
Right.
I think in general, realistically, in reality, we've got 33% more sponsorship.
Fantastic.
And we do see companies coming on board regularly. And they seem to be some of these guys who've never really been involved with hockey anymore. I get to speak to them every now and again because they're down at the area where I work, and they're really enthusiastic. They come down, they're enjoying the games. That can only be good for us because we need to fill our.
And if they're enjoying these games, then wait till there's some good hockey.
Yes, to see us winning.
Yeah,
yeah. But no, and they one thing I like about a lot of new fans when they come along is they tend to be very enthusiastic, and that's where Braehead have an advantage, really. Because they've got an awful lot of fans who didn't see hockey for a long time, and they're thrilled to see it back. We've been a bit spoiled because we always have hockey.
And I think that's true, isn't it? I mean, we'd all do well to remember that now and again. At least we've, it's the point you're making it. At least we've got hockey, and that obviously things can be improved,
We could have Edinburgh standard of hockey.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we have something to moan about then?
Yeah, or no hockey.
Yeah. But can you criticise Scott in Edinburgh? Well, he always puts a team out every year, and they may struggle a bit, and they may have to wait for camps to finish to try and bring guys in when they're a bit cheaper.
Yeah.
But they always have hockey, and they always get some results during the year. They'll always pull a win out they shouldn't every now and again, and they'll always pull out a gem of a player as well. Yeah. That big Dutch chap whose name is escaping me.
I haven't got on yet. So
no, I can't think what his name was. But they
see, you know what you should have done is learn from my mistake earlier and don't talk about something where you don't know the bloke's name.
Yarrelin.
Yeah.
That's twice you bailed people out.
That's amazing. I tell you, the way you did that, Steve.
Yeah.
Some of the fans will probably like you again now.
They might do.
Edinburgh fans, anyway.
Yeah, but wait till you
you
hear what he's got to say about Yarrelin.
Yarrelin's actually a great player. I would have loved to see Yarrelin in one of the big teams.
I had him on my fantasy team.
And mine.
Yeah. But he's very loyal to the coach, and he's been very loyal to the Caps. So.
Yeah. No, it's good. I'm sure there was something else. Do we need to talk about the fact where we are in the league? I mean, we haven't played that many league games in a way.
I don't. Otherwise, we'll be in danger of dwelling on something we shouldn't, like the club did possibly on the weekend, maybe allegedly. Yeah. Dwelling on something we really shouldn't be dwelling on at this point in the season. Yeah. Let's judge it at Christmas time and see where we are at Christmas time. Yeah. But let's not talk about sacking the coach. Let's give him everybody give him their full support. Whatever you think.
Wait till Christmas to talk about sacking him.
No, wait till Christmas to judge our performances so far. By then we'll know. Realistically,
Sorry, just before
we'll know realistic where we are then.
And I think challenging for the title, I genuinely believe that's an unrealistic aim. It shouldn't be something that you don't go for. Of course you should go for it. It's not realistic, not with the budget that we've gone. What I want to see is for us to win most of our home games, and play a physical, entertaining brand of hockey.
Committed hockey.
If that means we come 4th or 5th every year, so be it. Until we get a new building, then you can have different aspirations. Then things change. But at the moment, 4th place team. As long as we win more than half our games.
Winning at home, or at least competing at home and playing hard at home is a big thing. To be honest, I don't know whether this is typical of most fans, but my first couple of years when I came back to the Devils, when I moved back to Cardiff, I had no idea what the result was away from home. So as good as that was up in Sheffield, for all those new people coming, which is actually the majority of people, I would say, probably don't know the result of that away fixture. At least until
someone rang me and asked me today, funnily enough.
Well, and that's probably why, and Reagan knows this, and that's probably why, excuse the pun, he's tearing his hair out. But, people don't care about away results.
Was that the pun?
Well, it was unfortunate, wasn't it? I knew where I was going, and I couldn't stop. Sorry, Paul.
Is there another expression for that?
A mistake?
Yeah. Or rude, I don't know.
No, it's alright.
That's it, it's buns on seats. It has to be entertaining in our barn. So as good as it was to bounce back 24 hours later and go and win, really, doesn't matter.
Yeah, lots of issues we touched on tonight, and we've probably been a little bit light-hearted about things, and I may have messed about a bit about the music and the drumming and all that. In all seriousness, if people want to talk to us about that, the music, all sorts of elements of things, they're more than welcome to. It is things that we're trying to improve continuously. Yeah. The drummer, whose name is Brett, he's more than happy to talk to the fans. If you want to pop up and have a chat with him, he's ever such a nice guy. Yeah. Unfortunately, he won't be there this weekend because they have a big show on. Yes. Fantastic drummer. Though I got to very briefly touch on, I was in my seat on Saturday watching the game. I was quite happy. The drumming suddenly got very chaotic, and it started to get very fast, and I felt a bit like I was at some sort of strange event. I looked up, and Aled was drumming. Yeah. Well, I think he was drumming anyway. He appeared to be having some sort of fit.
Just to clear this up, I do play the drums, so I don't want my reputation to be tarnished.
No, it was very good.
Although, I think I've actually probably got more views for this show now than I have for my drum videos on YouTube, so there we are.
Well, you've advertised
Check
it now.
Check them out. Aled Lloyd Drums. Check them out, they're cool.
That's good to know.
I'm glad you cleared up
But
the
yeah.
drummer, because you don't, I would have thought by the look of you, you'd have a respectable honest
Exactly.
job, so.
Well, he looks like a
Yeah.
lead singer from a rock band, doesn't he, to be fair?
Lead singer. Bloody
Yeah.
hell, that's a
One Direction or something like that.
Don't name any Welsh
That's a
rock
shame.
bands. Let's not go
I
there.
wasn't going to.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing I was going to touch on. We're a team that plays in Wales,
Yeah.
the same as the Scottish team, the same as the Irish team. We're all Celtic, and we're all passionate.
Yeah.
And you don't always get that with the teams that play in the Middle Country.
Yeah.
But with
Very
our
rarely.
team, whatever we're doing on the ice, it's got to be passionate. We may not win all the games, but we've got to go out there and look like we're trying to.
Yeah.
We've got to be passionate. We've got to step up. We've got to look aggressive. We've got to look like we want it. We're
Yeah.
playing for that badge on the jersey.
Yeah.
And I want to wear my jersey.
Do you know what? I want to go and smack someone
Yeah,
now.
I
Yeah.
do.
Let's just.
I'm
Let's
gonna smack
That's it.
Can you coach?
Like a driver coach. Is that the same
You
thing?
will be taking the team talk, I think.
Yeah.
With
Well,
that was quite inspiring.
That's what we want, though. We want that passion on the ice. We want that passion off the ice.
Can we edit some inspirational music behind that
over
rant?
the top of it.
Behind-
Yeah.
Do you want to start again?
Or perhaps we could have
Yeah.
Nenad Halleck or something playing over the back.
Straight
Hang
into
on,
the camera.
it's on.
Straight into the camera.
Do it.
Citizens of Cardiff.
Oh,
No,
right.
we need all the fans behind
I
us.
tell you what, the words squib and damp come to mind there. don't they?
Yeah, was it? Sorry. I've ruined
You
it
could
now.
sing.
Should I do it in a
sing
different voice?
to recover it.
Potentially, yeah. Do you think so?
Yeah, definitely you should sing.
I want to know what we're going to sing.
Somebody sing something.
One Direction.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
really
don't
know
do that, or I'm.
unfortunately.
Right, are we done?
Is that just about it? Well, thanks, guys, for another great...
I'm not Skippy.
Thanks, Steve, for joining us this week.
Thanks
It's been a
to
pleasure.
Steve for joining us. Very kind of him to join us.
Thanks, Aled. And a message to Max, as it's customary. Watching Horror Show, Max, on your performances recently.
Please tell us
Keep
what
it up.
you just said.
Very good
Oh,
in Russian.
there we are. Excellent.
So,
Are we all done?
very good. I like it very much. I enjoy show. Boys been marvelous. Thank you.
Yeah. Was
Good
that
night.
That wasn't in Russian.
No, it wasn't. That was my best Anglo-Irish accent.
Oh, I thought it was.
Yeah.
Good night. Hey, whenever you're watching it.